Hey guys, Kev here, and I wanted to talk about the new Jack Wolf Knives Venom Jack. It's the re-release of the Venom Jack, one of the best models that they have released. Absolutely fantastic. And we have this awesome titanium version this time around, and I love it. This one stood out to me instantly from the moment I saw the different versions, and I knew I needed to check this one out. So shout out to Jack Wolf Knives. They did provide this for review, and yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. Speaking of which, they always pair amazingly well with a Northwoods Leatherworksco slip. As you guys know, I have one of these for every one of my Jack Wolf Knives slip joints. And Troy is unbelievable. So this is a white ghost leather. So the way that works is there is a leather underneath, and then there's like a white wax that gets put over top of it. And as it wears, that white wax comes off and the color underneath shows, and it just looks really cool. I have a lot of the sort of blackish grayish ghost leather, and I have a few of these in the white, and I like them all very, very much. I believe the color underneath is like a burgundy, but it's hard to tell. It looks like a very deep brown or like a Merlot color. But it looks absolutely stunning, and it has that beautiful purple threading on it, and that matches up with the anodizing on the hardware for this knife. So that is very cool. If you guys are looking for slips, wallets, any cool leather goods, check out Northwoodsleatherworksco over on Instagram. You can also email them, northwoodsleatherworksco@gmail.com. And they do a lot of custom work for Jack Wolf Knives. So they do drops of different slips that have the actual Jack Wolf logo on it. I don't know if his logo is on the back and then Jack Wolf is on the front, or I'm not sure exactly how they do that, but very cool. Big shout out to Troy. Thank you so much for this beautiful slip. And they just make such a sick combination. I actually am going to go get my OG Venom to show you. Here it is. And of course it has a Northwoods Leatherworks slip as well. So let's just do a little comparison, shall we, of the two knives, since I have them both here. I thought I put them in the same orientation. There we go. Here's the slip for this one, because this one is a Mars Valley fat carbon. I do love this version. This was actually my knife of the year for, I believe, 2022 is when this one released. It was like the last month, which is December, by the way, of 2022 that this released. And it stole my heart and won Knife of the Year for me for that year. And then 2023, I believe the Feel Good Jack won. So 2 years in a row, a Jack Wolf knife, a Jack Wolf slip joint, I should say, has won Knife of the Year for me. That's how much I love these knives. They're just such, they've just been an absolutely fantastic change of pace for me. I have been such a folder fan for so many years. I've had the channel now for almost 4 years. And I've been hardcore into knives for probably 5 or 5.5, maybe 6. And, you know, I've been a knife guy, so to speak, for most of my life. But I never really got into slip joints. And I've told this a bunch of times, but when I was first introduced to Jack Wolf knives at Blade Show in 2021, it really piqued my interest. And then, you know, when they came out, it really caught me because they had versions with fat carbon, camo carbon on them, not just micarta. And then he really leaned into that because people loved it, and he went all carbon, right? And it's progressed and changed, and now there's locking knives and fixed blades, and you know, it's different now. But at the core of it, they still have very unique, very cool versions of a traditional pattern, and that just it just does it for me. I don't know how to explain it, but having a slip joint that is very modern in construction, but design-wise is traditional, and then material-wise is very modern. It's just very cool to me. Anyway, this one has a little bit of wax on it. That's what I use to try to keep the rust away. I have been storing them outside of the slips, though, because it seems to be the better move. But yeah, Mars Valley. It's got the bolsters and everything. Double fluted. I don't have a carbon one or anything here for the new run. We can look at those online and see. Oh, yeah, just beautiful. No play. Beautiful walk and talk. I mean, listen to that. I mean, I'm going to... it's close. The old one actually has a little better acoustic. This one jumps very well too. It might be... hear that? Now, I don't know if that could have something to do with the full tie construction. Just might have a different feel to it. But I would say the pull is maybe slightly stronger on the new version. But the walk and talk is a little bit crisper and bouncier on the OG. Again, could just be the full tie version is a little different. Or, you know, there's a handful of my Jack Wolfs that I would put in the perfect category in terms of walk and talk. And if you have 300 knives, 400 knives, 800 knives, 1,000 knives, however many knives in a run, they're not all going to be perfect. Same thing with a locking knife. They're not all going to have a crisp click on the detent when they close, that kind of stuff. And, you know, I have a handful of Jack Wolfs out of the, I don't know how many I have now, 25 or something like that, that are basically perfect. Like my Feel Good Jack is perfect. My Little Bro Jack in Flow Party is perfect. And this Venom is perfect. And I'm sure there's some others that I'm not thinking of. So that could be just what's going on here. Anyway, I know you guys don't care about that. So one thing to note is this is the last model they did in M390. Or I should say the last release in M390, if I'm not mistaken. After this knife, in January 2023, they switched over to S90V. So now you have S90V steel. I much prefer that on my knives. So I'm glad they did that. But that's something to note. If you have an original Venom, the new one is S90V. So that's one thing that is different that might pique your interest. The sharpening choil, the little notch is bigger. You can see here that notch is bigger than it is on this one. The text seems to be the same. The hardware is going to be, I think, slightly different. I believe at some point about 4 or 5 months ago, they started tooling the screws a little bit deeper, a little bit better tooling, I would say. And it's going to be hard to see because of the color differences and everything. But I believe the Venom here still had the old style where you could slip out a little bit easier. They've been a lot better as of late. I also really haven't had to mess with them as of late, which is a good sign. So, yeah, not a great one-to-one just because this one's the full tie, but we'll look at the other versions in a moment. Man, forgot how damn good that knife is. You know, sometimes you just don't get to carry your favorite stuff. Yeah, it just has a little less of that bouncy, clicky sounds. Still feels great, I would say. Yeah, it still feels about the same with a little bit stronger pull, which I like. But it doesn't have that acoustic snap to it that I really love on that one. But hey, you know, that's why that one won Knife of the Year. That specific knife was just perfect. I want to show you the packaging because it's excellent. I've gotten some really cool packaging in lately from different knives, and this is for sure one of them. Jack Wolf always delivers on their packaging. Now, just to cover the drop, and I thought I might have mentioned this earlier, but I'm not sure if I did. The drop is on Friday the 16th, August 16th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. So you can pick it up at any of the Jack Wolf dealers at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And that includes white mount knives, traditional pocket knives, Urban Cutlery. I do want to mention Urban Cutlery will have their tumbler that will come with each knife. So last month, if you saw my video on, oh gosh, what was it last month? Was it the fixed blade last month? I don't even remember what the knife was last month. That's crazy. Anyway, it came with a tumbler, very nice, you know, steel thermal tumbler that had a Jack Wolf logo on it. Very nice. And those are coming with each knife you buy at Urban Cutlery. So I'll put a link down below to Urban Cutlery if you want to grab one of those tumblers. I'll put a link to Traditional Pocket Knives. They're one of the dealers I have an affiliate link with that carry Jack Wolf knives. I'll put a link to anybody that I can think of, and or you know, I'll also put a link to Jack Wolf knives dealer list, and then you can go down the list if there's a certain version you're hunting and you want to, you know, make sure you get it or whatever. You can do that. So I wanted to show you the stickers because I was tempted to actually take one out this time and put it on something, but I just can't do it. I just keep all the packaging together, and that's just how I roll. If he gave me 5 extra stickers, I would keep all 5 in here. I'm just a weirdo like that. I know he gives us, or they, I should say, give us an extra sticker. They're the same sticker so that you can use one and then keep one to have to preserve the packaging. But I'm weird, and to me, now that means there's 2 in the packaging, so I have to have 2. I thought this was a really cool one. It says Venom. And there's Jack Wolf, and he's got a snake wrapped around his mouth. Very cool. And the artwork this time around is amazing. This is going to be Jay Gonz. I forget his first name, so that's why I'm going to just say Jay Gonzo Art. There you go. I don't know if it's John, so but Jay Gonzo Art. And just did an excellent job on this. Look at that. Jack Wolf wearing a serpent armor set. Very cool. Pretty wild, right? Venom Jack. He's got blood, snake blood or venom or whatever dripping off of his sword. He's got a snake sword. That's just epic. It really is epic. And then the Pog, of course, has it on there as well. Does make me want to get a poster of that one. I have a poster of a couple. Well, actually, I just have one, Miami Nights. And then I have a Jack Wolf logo poster. So I might order a couple more to pimp out the walls a little more in here, but we'll see. So anyway, packaging is sick as usual, but I wanted to note it. Let's take a look at the website so you can see the different versions. Jack Wolf knives, Venom Jack. So we have a, okay, so that is something to note as a difference. They have switched it to a triple fluted bolster. So, well, actually, a triple and then a double. So what that means is there's 3 flutes on the top here. You see the lines 1, 2, 3. And then down here you have 2, 1, 2. And I think that looks very cool, very unique. The original one has 1 here and 1 here. You can see I got some schmutz in there. Just, you know, skin or dirt or whatever that can get built up in there if you're opening and closing this 5 million times like I probably have. So that's all that is. Nothing wrong with the knife. But anyway, yeah, I love that they went with a triple flute there. And then, of course, you're going to have versions now with anodized hardware. You're going to have versions with different blade finishes, handle finishes, stuff that we didn't see the first time around on the Venom. This is a version that really caught me as well. But there was just something about this that made me want to try it. So I went with that. But this is blue marble carbon fiber and a hand satin blade. And this is from Protect Composites. And they're actually a USA manufacturer of carbon materials like camo carbon. Now, fat carbon is similar. But they're in Lithuania, I believe. So very cool to see that being made here. It's something I do want to maybe try myself in the future. But looks very, very nice. And then you have blue accents on the pivot and the body screws there. Actually, those might be black to blend in with the inlay, which I really like. And you get a look at the packaging there. So that's the blue one. Then we have a toxic one, which makes sense. You're talking about a Venom Jack, you know, toxic finish. So this one's going to be DLC. I believe that's a black wash. Not positive, but that looks like a black wash to me. Like they DLC'd it and then they tumbled it, which would be really cool. And it's same on the body there. And then you have toxic camo carbon, which is really cool. It's a brightish neon colored green. And it looks very nice there. Looks very nice. And again, you have the flutes the same way. So this is a really good user version, I would say. Yeah, black wash. Look at that. That's cool. And then we have the version I have here. Now, they're calling it a rock pattern. And when I first saw it, I instantly said, wow, that looks sick. Like, yes, it's a rock pattern, but it gives it sort of a scale look. Like a snake, right? That's why I really fell in love with it, because I was like, ooh, it's kind of snaky, which is perfect for the Venom Jack, right? And I asked Ben about it, and didn't sound like that's actually what he was going for. He was just trying to hit that rock pattern, but it was a fantastic accident, in my opinion, because it really does give it a snake look. It's just gorgeous, man. I don't know what to tell you. There's just something about this that really works for me. And it's very comfortable in hand with the rock pattern there. It's also really cool in the slip. When I put it in the slip, and, you know, I like to work in my slip, that's what she said, and kind of, you know, just form it, right? I got the slip yesterday, so, you know, I like to form it so that in the end, it's very shaped, you know, you can see the knife basically in there, even when the knife is not. And when I do that with this, I can feel every peak and valley and everything on the rock pattern. You might even be able to see it through the slip, which I think is extremely cool. So you have that version. These are all $2.99, by the way. Then you have one in Fat Carbon Dark Matter Red. And this one has a blast and tumble, which is basically they bead blast it and then they tumble it. It's a very durable finish. This is a finish that you could use. You know, I said that other one, the black wash one, would be a user finish, especially if it's DLC, which I believe it is. This would also be a very good finish for that. So let's see, let's go back. And those are the 4 main versions. And then there's always a dealer exclusive. Well, not always, but lately there's been a dealer exclusive. And that is this version right here, which I believe is a Blade HQ exclusive. I will put a link to this as well. I actually have an affiliate link to Blade HQ through ShareASale. So if you decide you really like this version and you want to use my link, that would be awesome. It would help me out, but you don't have to. It doesn't cost you anything though. So this has blue rich light on it, which, you know, rich light is one of those materials that I feel like people don't quite understand what it is. It's basically paper micarta. So if you've ever heard of paper micarta, it's very much a combination of like G10 and micarta. If you put those two things together, that's kind of what it feels like. But it's basically paper micarta. This is a dark blue, and then you have gold hardware, and I believe a polished bolster and a hand satin. So it should tell you here, gold anodized polished titanium. That's gold, and then polished on the spring. Let's see, does it tell it? Yeah, polished titanium on the liners. And that one is also $2.99. Now, one thing I wanted to check was, is this DLC? Yes, this is DLC, as I understand it, true DLC. We could actually test that. I will take one for the team here. Oh, what's that? That's not good. I gotta look at that. Oh, what that is. It's just been sitting in my case there, but let's take a look at it. Let me just try to wipe it down. Hopefully it's just some schmutz there. I don't know what exactly would have gotten on the bolsters. If it could have been from the slip somehow, it bled. Coloring, you know. Looks like it's coming off though, so I'm guessing with enough work it would come off. So this, I believe, is listed as DLC. Actually, we can check. Because there's been a bit of a dilemma lately, I would say, with DLC being listed incorrectly by OEMs. And that's not to say that the company, like Jack Wolf, would knowingly put DLC when it's not. Yes, DLC, titanium, hardware, DLC... Where's the blade? Where's the blade? Hollow ground crucible DLC. Okay. So basically, the way to test this is we take a bit and we scratch the shit out of it. And we see what happens. So, let's do it. So you can see there is a mark there. So let's see if that comes off with alcohol. It's hard to get into that angle. Just wanted to polish it up there. And it looks like to me, I mean, it looks gone to me. I mean, I can still see kind of where I rubbed, but I don't think that would count. I mean, it's not scratching clearly. This is a bit. Right? For reference, here's another knife. Okay, both of those are DLC. Here's one that's not, right? If I scratch there, it's going to be hard for you to see, but you can see the coating literally coming up and off of the scale or off of the blade. See that? It's literally indenting and marring the blade. On these, you should just be able to take alcohol and wipe them down. Guess I could do a little bit better. I don't see anything, but just saying. So there you go. I took some alcohol, wiped it down, and yeah, I don't see any scratches. So the polished DLC like this doesn't even show really anything related to those marks, right? I would say this isn't scratching, but you do see kind of like a little bit of a color difference. And I think that's just because I'm essentially polishing, like I'm polishing the DLC with the bit. And then the alcohol, I don't know. But clearly has not scratched. It still looks fantastic. So that answers that question, by the way. So you're looking at a absolute workhorse. By the way, this is the Midnight Jack. Absolutely wonderful offering from Jack Wolf Knives. This is one of my favorite models. Or yeah, I almost said it is my favorite. I don't know. The Feel Good and the Little Bro, but all three of those and the Venom, I would say, are my tops, my top four. But such a good model, as well as the Venom here. So basically what I was doing that for was to show you that the Toxic one here is going to be an absolutely fantastic user. You're talking about DLC, actual true DLC, and then it is tumbled. So it's not probably going to even show that little bit of polishing that I did there because of the stonewash after. So all you guys who've been looking for the micarta versions or whatever, because, you know, maybe it's not because you're a traditional guy, maybe it's because you're worried about the materials somehow, you know, it's more of a user to you, then I would say that one's an absolutely easy choice. And this Blast and Tumble would be a great choice as well for a user finish. For somebody who wants a belt satin, it looks like the only option is the titanium one. That was another reason this one stood out to me, because I'm like, ooh, look at those scales. And I was like, ooh, it's the only one with belt satin. Easy choice, right? If you're looking for hand satin, you're going to be going for this blue or for the Rich Light from Blade HQ. And then obviously you have... yeah, you have some awesome options. So you have hand satin, you have black wash, you have blast and tumble, you have belt satin, and you have another hand satin. Amazing choices. All the color options you would want: red, green, blue, pink / purple, and then more neutral, right? With some gold in there. Handle material, you have carbons, you have titanium, and you have a Rich Light / micarta. So it's literally perfect in terms of choices, I think, this time around. So to close this out, because I have rambled on and on, which tends to happen in my Jack Wolf videos, this is a fabulous re-release. I really hope it does well. It's been almost 2 years since the Venom released, and I think that's a pretty long time, and I would venture to guess it was one of the more popular models, just because it's such a good user. It's super comfortable in the hand. It's a great size. It's in that mid-range size. Here's the Midnight, just to show you. I can compare it to some other slippies. So here's the Venom. It's probably going to be the biggest one out of the bunch, I would guess. Here's the Midnight. Here's the Nip Slip. So this is the same size as our Nip. And these are coming next month. And then here's the Barley. I grabbed the raw Thai version. This is the Urban EDC Barley. It's another one of our designs. And stupid thin. That one's dropping in September as well. But I've actually never compared these next to each other, I don't think. The Midnight and the Barley. Funny enough, they were designed independently. Ben actually helped us work on the tang geometry on this knife when we were working on the design. And then about a month later, I think, the Midnight released. And it's just kind of funny that we had very similar ideas at similar times, you know. Completely different, though. Choil, thinness, all that stuff. Anyway, that's not what we're here for. But you guys may have just received yours. If you're a slip joint guy and you pre-ordered one of these, they just shipped the pre-orders. And here's a size comparison for you on that. So the Midnight and the Barley are a little bit shorter than the Venom, but not by much. And I think the Venom is a fabulous size. Really good. I honestly, when I figured out that this was dropping, I was kind of hoping it would be a mini Venom, but then, you know, I don't think that's really necessary. I do hope they do it in the future, but I do get a full grip on this, and I'm comfortable. I don't have a bunch of extra, you know, space or anything. It's such a good utility cutter with that just straight up warning. You can get right to that tip. Whenever I'm opening packages, you know, you're slicing the tape down the center, slicing the sides, opening up some kind of plastic bag, you know. There's so many good uses for this, cardboard cutting, all types of stuff. So, yeah. If you can't tell, I love the Jack Wolf knives, Venom Jack. And again, this one's dropping on Friday, the 16th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, all over the place. Again, links down below to Blade HQ for the exclusive, to traditional pocket knives and urban cutlery for the standard versions. Urban cutlery will have the tumblers. You'll get a bunch of cool swag when you order with traditional pocket knives. So it's a win no matter where you go. And yeah, great job, Jack Wolf team. Thank you for sending this out to me. I really appreciate it. It's a fabulous addition to the Jack Wolf collection. I would say that's my only collection. I don't even have every Divo knife, and I own the company, co-own the company. I don't have every knife that we've released. I'm pretty sure I'm missing at least one or two. And I have one knife from every Jack Wolf release. And that's been going on for how long has it been now? 2 years and change, maybe 2.5 years. So you're talking, yeah, I probably have 27, 28 of these in total. So yeah, it's starting to be a big collection, I guess you would say. Never thought I'd collect something like that. I've just never been that type. But there's just something so cool about them. And I just like preserving that and having each one. I have the box for each one. I have the original contents from each one. I'm not afraid to carry the knives, and I have slips made for each one. That's not, you know, it's not like Safe Queen stuff. The packaging is for whatever reason, but yeah, I hope one day to find a place to kind of put up all the cans. I think it would be really cool to put the tins up somewhere, but I'm going to shut up now. Let me know what you guys think. I'll give you one last kind of overview of it here, and then I'll get you out of here. Beautiful centering. Look at that. Just gorgeous, man. Comes down to such a nice tip with that hollow grind. I do recommend when you first get really any slip joint, but a Jack Wolf for sure, that you give it a little time to break in. You put oil on the tang corners. Now, they're kind enough to actually do that for you in QC. But that original oil will wear out pretty quick if you're like me and you open and close it a lot. And that's basically because you have stuff, you know, moving together in here. You have washers, you have S90V, you have titanium, right? A lot of that's rubbing together. The spring is being contacted. And so there's going to be little microparticles of material. And it's better to have some oil in there. I use KPL Heavy. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll take KPL Original at first. And then after, I don't know, 2 applications, then I'll start using KPL Heavy. But basically, it keeps all that gunk in suspension. And then you can just clean it up. I take those little Q-tips. You can get these at KPL, knifepivotlube.com. You can use the code LEFTY10, or you can get them on Amazon for dirt cheap. You just try Googling like makeup mini microfiber Q-tip or something like that. I might even have a link in the description, actually, down in my Disassembly Tools section. And you literally just clean up all this stuff here around the outside on the tang. And then in here as well, down in there, right? Maybe get this area too if you're feeling like you want to really clean some stuff. And then once that's all clean, you just take another one of those with the oil on it and dab each corner. There's 3 of them. And then you just work it in. And then you carry it. And then a couple days later, you want to look at it and see. And when you see all that black, you're just going to see black shit everywhere. Then you take that, you clean it up. Or take a cloth, clean it all out, open this up, clean all that out again, reapply, right? And I usually do that 2 times and really, you know, try to work it in. And then I'll clean it up a last time and put KPL Heavy on. And that's kind of where I'm at now. I've probably been carrying this for a week and change. And I applied the KPL Heavy, I think, yesterday or the day before. And I've opened and closed it a bunch. And there's a lot less black gunk stuff in the suspension this time around. You'll actually get like little almost chunks of stuff sometimes because it'll group together if there's enough of it. And that's good. You want that. You want that to come out, and then you want to clean it out. And eventually you're going to have a stupidly smooth feeling slip joint that really has great action. So I recommend doing that. I recommend not touching the pivot. This OEM, whoever they may be, has gotten extremely adept at tuning these. Almost every time I get a slip joint now from them, there's no side to side. It has good walk and talk, and then it breaks in to be great. And yeah, I mean, there's no wiggle. There's, you know, it's not too tight. If anything, they can be just slightly over tightened. And then again, as you use it and just wear it in for that first week, it breaks in perfectly. And you end up with a beautiful bouncing slip joint. I mean, look at that. Yeah, the acoustics aren't quite as snappy as this one, but the feel is there. And you can see this is the Midnight in DLC, and I thought it was the DLC, but maybe it's actually the titanium. Maybe it's the full tie that gives it a little bit of a duller acoustic, you know? It's still great. Just wanted to point that out. So, anyway, there it is. Venom Jack, a beautiful offering. Hope you guys pick one up. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. If your thought has anything to do with it not being worth $2.99, you could just keep it to yourself this time, I think. After 27 releases, which means I've done 27 videos, basically, on Jack Wolf's. We pretty much know everybody's stance on it. And some of you guys just don't like the price. And, you know, I get it. And that's your prerogative. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can have your opinion on that. I think it's worth $2.99 easily. The craftsmanship, the feel in hand, there's definitely custom fitting for each individual knife. The scales are, especially on inlaid versions, are custom to that knife specifically. You'll see they're numbered individually. Like each part of the knife is numbered. It has a hand ground blade. At least the satin is. I would assume the other ones are too, for the hollow. There's just, you know, the packaging is extraordinary. Something you don't see in the knife world, in the modern knife world, I guess I should say. And even if you look at traditionals, they go above and beyond that. It's not just, hey, here's a tin with artwork and a piece of wax paper, right? There's a beautiful cloth in there. I can tell you those cloths aren't cheap. We have our own cloths that we ship with every knife. And these are relatively affordable, but that's because we choose to get the red, white, and blue ones with a little screen print on it so we can keep the cost down. Jack Wolf goes for really cool colors. They have neon colors and all types of stuff. They're embossed. It's a little bit of a different, it's more of like a ShamWow feeling as opposed to more of like a terry cloth microfiber like ours. The tin, the pog, right? The extra stickers, the box. And then you have to factor in the dealers, okay? They sell all their knives through dealers. Guess what? Dealers take 30% of your margin immediately. That's why with Divo knives, we try to keep a balance. We try to use a few dealers, and then we also sell, you know, a third of the run directly. We don't always do that, but depending on the model, we'll do that. And that way we can make up some ground on margin with the ones we sell direct versus the ones we're selling to dealers. We love working with our dealers. But I can tell you, it takes a chunk of your profit when you do that. And obviously, we need the dealers. They help us in many ways, especially with their exclusives and all of that stuff. I'm not saying they're unnecessary at all. I'm saying it's just a part of it. And I think if you understand that, you can get to $2.99 so easy. Yeah, I honestly, I don't think, you know, I think a lot of people look at the price and they go, ooh, Jack Wolf, those guys are rolling in money. You know, no, they have 3 employees. If you count Ben, who's the owner, operator, there's 3 people working there. So he's got to pay 3 people and run the business and keep coming out with new stuff, right? Trust me. There's not just like fistfuls of dollar bills over there. And I'm sure they actually, you know, had to fight to get it to $2.99 if I really think about it. So what I'm saying is it's a value. No, I won't argue that. It is an expensive product, but I guess what I'm saying is the quality is there, and there's no way that I don't see this being worth $2.99. Not a chance in hell that you could convince me this is not worth it. Are there knives with similar materials and stuff like that for a lower price? Yes, that exists. But you have to look at the factors. You have to look at who's involved. You have to look at business model. You have to look at, you know, the company itself, who's working there. All these things go into price. And I get it when you're a consumer, and this is part of what I've learned over the years having my own company now. It's really given me a great perspective being on this side of it with YouTube, being on this side of it with Divo, and then even being on this side of it as a consumer, right? So I can kind of look at it from all three sides. And yeah, I get it. I get why people say that, but it's not an argument. It's worth it. It is. Now, whether you want to spend the money or not is a totally different thing. And you guys are all welcome to your opinion. I'm not telling you not to have your opinion. But I am trying to maybe change some of your minds. If you're on the fence, handle one. And that's the best thing I can tell you is handle one. Because there's a lot of people who dog on the price. And I'll ask them, well, have you handled one? No. Well, then you can't. It's hard to speak to it if you haven't handled one. Because once you get one in hand, I think you'll understand. So, I'm going to shut up about that because I probably shouldn't have ranted for 10 minutes about that. I'm just passionate about it. I think that Ben and the team are doing great stuff, and I wish them the best. I wish them a wonderful drop on Friday. So pick one up, 2 p.m. Eastern, 8/16. Links down below. Shutting up now. I love you guys. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will catch you later.